Hi, PerspectaWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday, January 14th. While all signs continue to point to a pattern change for the central and eastern U.S., we've certainly enjoyed some warmer than normal conditions over the past few weeks, and really the month of December was a little bit above normal, and certainly the first half of January has been above normal in much of the eastern half of the nation. That is all about to change, however. We'll have the first wave of Arctic air arriving on Friday, and that could set the stage for some accumulating snow in the I-95 corridor region on Saturday. And that Arctic outbreak that arrives Thursday night and Friday will not be the last. It looks like the pattern is changing, so we'll have multiple cold air outbreaks going through the latter stages of January, and even some signs that it'll stay on the cold side, more sustained cold right through the month of February. Before we get to the Saturday snow situation, let's take a longer term look here. We talked about the MJO, a tropical disturbance that kind of propagates along the tropics, and it has an impact on temperatures and precipitation around the world. And when it is traveling through what we call phases 5, 6, and 7, as it is going to do according to the European model over the next several days, that is generally a warmer phase for the central and eastern U.S. But after that, it tends to weaken, and it kind of wraps into this inner circle. And when it wraps into this particular inner circle, it tends to weaken, and that will allow for colder air outbreaks to not only return to the eastern part of the nation, but to become more sustained. That's the real difference going forward here. We have had cold air outbreaks over the past few weeks, but they've been pretty short in duration. It looks like more of a sustained cold pattern is setting up. And again, the first Arctic outbreak arrives here Thursday night, going into the day on Friday here in the eastern U.S. And again, that could set the stage for some accumulating snow on Saturday. So again, the MJO is giving us some signs that we're going to get out of this warm phase over the next few days, and then into a colder pattern here, setting up beginning later this week into the weekend and continuing for the next several weeks. Well, let's take a quick look at the ensemble run of the GFS in terms of the average 850 millibar temperature anomalies for 5-day periods. This is the current 5-day period, and again, still continuation of warmer than normal conditions. Probably the warmest day of the next few will be tomorrow, Wednesday, with some sunshine returning, highs in the 50s. So generally a warmer than normal period that we're in right now. Again, a strong cold front pushes Arctic air into the region Thursday night and Friday. And here is the ensemble run of the GFS forecast map of the average 850 millibar temperature anomalies for days 6 to 10. This is January 19th to January 24th. Quite a flip in the pattern here. And again, we're talking about sustainability of this cold air. Let's go out even farther into days 11 to 15. This takes us all the way to nearly the end of the month of January. Below normal conditions here for much of the eastern two-thirds of the nation. And in fact, there are signs that this colder the normal pattern that will set up for the central and eastern U.S. could continue through much of the month of February. Well, let's now focus in on the weekend snow possibility. And again, there could be accumulating snow on Saturday in the I-95 corridor region, especially to those areas north of the Mason-Dixon line, well to the north and west of the D.C. metro region. But north of the Mason-Dixon line, there could be a few inches of snow, maybe even more than that. Still a few days to go, and a lot of details that have to be ironed out. It's a complicated forecast. Looks like it'll begin as snow, then perhaps change to a mix of rain, sleet, and snow, and maybe even then change back to all snow before it finally winds down, let's say, early Sunday. A lot of details to be ironed out, but we'll talk about the key players here and what we'll watch for over the next few days. First of all, starting off the day on Tuesday, and this is using the 0Z run of the GFS. We do have some shower activity moving into Virginia and actually all the way now into the D.C. metro region. Can be occasional rain in D.C., occasional showers primarily this afternoon in Philly and New York from a weak system down to our south. That pushes on out of here, and excuse me, Wednesday is setting up to be a pretty nice day, especially for the middle part of January. We'll have plenty of sunshine on Wednesday, calm winds, high temperatures in the 50s up and down the I-95 corridor region. But then we're looking upstream, and we have a cold air mass, Arctic air pouring into the central and northern plains come tomorrow night, going into the day on Thursday. Here we are by Thursday morning, right here. Strong cold front comes through the mid-Atlantic region. Maybe on the dry side, there could be a shower associated. You'll know when that front passes through the region, however, on Thursday, because winds will start picking up in intensity out of the northwest, gusting past 40 miles per hour or so, especially from midday on through the afternoon into the evening. So again, this is the arrival of the Arctic air mass that will play a key role in our weather conditions for Saturday, when a lot of precipitation moves our way from the middle part of the nation. So again, let's keep moving forward here. Now by Thursday afternoon, temperatures could actually be sliding during the afternoon hours with those 40-mile-per-hour northwest winds. And this high pressure system right here over the south central part of Canada come early Friday moves into the southeastern part of Canada, and anyone who's watched my wintertime videos over the years knows that this is a key player that I always look for. High pressure to the north, because it is almost a requirement for snow to accumulate in the big cities of D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, to have strong high pressure anchoring in a cold air mass. Otherwise, that cold air would tend to retreat rather quickly. And we have a very strong cold high here come Friday night, and that is again a key player. Meanwhile, lots of precipitation over the center part of the nation, moving into the Ohio Valley come Friday night. And a couple things that we'll watch for over the next couple of days leading up to this weekend snow event is how quickly that precipitation can make its way into the I-95 corridor region. It looks like snow is likely to begin early Saturday morning in D.C. and then spread to the north and east during Saturday morning into Philadelphia, probably into New York City as well with that kind of a timetable. The faster that precipitation arrives, the more cold air will still be stuck in place, perhaps the more snow. The slower, that allows for some more time for this cold air to begin to retreat, and it will eventually give way. It'll be reluctant to give way, this cold air mass, because of the anchoring of this high pressure system. It will be slow to give up its ground, but indeed it looks like snow will probably transition to some kind of a wintry mix late Saturday or Saturday night. That mix could include some ice, then maybe change back to all snow by early Sunday. Let's keep moving forward here. Here's that strong cold high pressure system by late Friday night, and here we go by Saturday morning. Now, this is the GFS model, which tends to be a little faster than some of the other models with the arrival of the precipitation. Nonetheless, looks like early Saturday, precipitation probably arrives in the form of snow across D.C., maybe rather quickly changes over to sleet and freezing rain, but snow will fall north of the Mason-Dixon line for a while, and that's why accumulations look a little bit more likely, perhaps a little bit more substantial, north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. Again, there's that high pressure system, but the surface low itself will cut up to the north and west, and that will allow for some milder air to try to move in the upper part of the atmosphere later in the day on Saturday and Saturday night again. But with this strong high anchoring this cold air mass, it will be reluctant to give up its ground. So it may take a while for this transition over to rain and ice late Saturday night. For a while there could be some decent snow falling. Let's say in the suburbs of Philadelphia to the north of there during the day on Saturday, and that will dictate how much snow actually accumulates before any changeover does occur. And then on the back end, some colder air wraps back in, and there could be a changeover back to snow in parts of the I-95 corridor, let's say late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, before the precipitation finally winds down and a reinforcing cold air mass moves in on Sunday, and strong northwest winds, and it stays cold through much of next week. And again, it looks like the latter stages of January look cold, and maybe even going all the way through the month of February, colder than normal pattern, setting up for the central and eastern U.S. So a key player to the potential accumulating snow on Saturday will be this Arctic air outbreak that arrives late Thursday night on strong northwest winds. That Arctic air mass will be anchored by strong high pressure over southeastern Canada, and that will allow for the cold air to remain for a while on Saturday. When that precipitation arrives, it's likely to be in the form of snow, and accumulations are quite possible, even down into the D.C. metro region, and certainly even more likely perhaps across the Pennsylvania and interior New Jersey and southeastern part of New York during the day on Saturday. So we'll of course focus in on that snow threat over the next few days, but a pattern change is indeed coming for the central and eastern U.S. That's it for now. For PerspectaWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.